For part 1, we have to construct a graph or chart to compare both relative and cumulative frequency for the data set has been given. So first of all, we have to classify the data according to the classes. Then we have to find out the frequency of it. Secondly, we have to calculate both relative and cumulative frequency for both airlines, which is domestic airline and also international airlines. So these are the tables for both domestic and international airline once the frequency, relative frequency and also cumulative frequency are found out. And the data set had been also classified according to the classes of interval. For the second part, once we find out the frequency, relative and also cumulative frequency, we have to plot a graph or chart based on the table. So these are the both tables for international and also domestic passengers. So the first part is showing bar chart for relative frequency for both domestic and also international airline. On the bottom part of it, it represents classes of interval and the left axis is representing the relative frequency. The second part is showing a GIF graph where it has to be plotted based on the cumulative frequency for both airlines, which is domestic and also international airline. So this is the GIF graph for both international and also domestic airline. On the bottom part of it, it represents upper limit and the left axis is representing the cumulative frequency. Well, that's all for part 1. Thank you.
There are three type measure of central location, which are mean, median, and mode. First is the mean. Mean is the sum of the value of each observation in a data set divided by number of observations. It also known as arithmetic mean or average. Since the question had mentioned the word a portion of the data, so I used the sample formula to calculate the mean. From the slide, can see that the mean of domestic travel worldwide is larger than means of international travel worldwide, which is more than 657,761.54. This is because most of the people still choose to travel in own country even it had implemented the biometric system. Second is the median. Median is the middle value in distribution when the values are arranged in ascending or descending order. The median of domestic is 570,799.5 and the median of international is 88,666. That means that the medians of domestic is more than the medians of international. Third is the mode. Mode is the value that appear most frequently in a data set. Since there are no value appear frequently in domestic and international, hence there are no mode for these two data sets.
So part 3 will be calculating percentiles and construct box plot. To calculate the percentiles, we will be using the formula LP equals to bracket n plus 1 bracket P over 100. Next, a box plot will be displaying 5 summary values, which are the maximum value, the minimum value, Q1, the first quartile, Q2, the median, and Q3, the third quartile. The box plot shown in the slide is plotted by using the domestic flights data, which shown the minimum value as 88,829, while Q1 will be 240,976.5. Median will be 570,799.5, while Q3 will be giving a value of 1,628,064.5, and the maximum value is 4,570,798. Next will be a box plot plotted by using the international flights data. The minimum value of this set of data will be 32,362. Q1 will be 73,461.75. Median is 88,666, while Q3 will be showing 116,733.75. Last but not least, the maximum value is 4,713,336.
Next, measure of dispersions. We know that there have four types measure of dispersions, which are range, mean absolute deviations, variance, and standard deviations, and the last is coefficients of variations. For my part, I'm focused on variations and the standard deviations and coefficients of variations only. First is the variance and the standard deviations. Variance is the measure of how data set differ from the mean, while standard deviation is a measure how much data scatters around the mean. Since the question had mentioned a portion of the data, means part of the data, so I using the sample formula. From the slide, the variance and the standard deviations of domestic is 1189,89431.587%, and for the international submissions is 110238.966%. Based on the calculations, the variance and the standard deviations of domestic is more than internationals. Next, coefficients of variations. Coefficients of variations is the ratio of the standard deviations to the mean. The higher the CV, the greater the dispersions. Based on the data set, we have two domestic and international. The coefficients of variations of domestic is 1.07 and number 2 is international. The summation is 2.42. That means the coefficients of variation indicates that international passenger traffic have more relative dispersions than domestic.
Hi everyone, my name is Chen Minxuan. My metric number is BT1270341. Today I would like to present the group assignment which is for part 5, calculate and compare measure of association in each data set. First of all, we need to know the mean of each data set. We need to total up the data sets in each category and then divide by 24 in order to get the mean. This table shows the sum of xi minus x bar multiplied by ys minus y bar of each data set. In order to get the sample covariance, I will apply this formula, which is sum of xi minus x bar multiplied by yi minus y bar divided by n minus 1. This table shows the sum of square of xi minus x bar. I will use square root of sum of xi minus x bar square divided by n to find my standard deviation of x. Besides, this table shows the sum of square of yi minus y bar. In order to find the standard deviation of y, I will apply this formula, which is square root of sum of yi minus y bar square divided by n. As all you know, for the part of measure of association, we need to find the covariance as well as the correlation coefficient. Just now we had get the covariance, and now we need to know the value of correlation coefficient by using the formula sample covariance divided by standard deviation of x multiplied by standard deviation of y. This is all for me from today. Thank you for listening.